Hey, what's going on, everyone? Rocky here with 75 South Gardening, and today we're going to talk about which crops you should be growing right now for your fall and winter garden. The first one on the list is potatoes. If you have any red Norlands or Yukon Golds that have sprouted like this one, go ahead and get those into the ground now. You can also grow bush beans. These usually mature in under 60 days, so they're perfect for growing in the fall before the frost gets here, along with peas. Now I'll be getting some of these started today. You can also start spinach. Now if you're somewhere where it's cool already, spinach is perfect to start now from seed. But if you stay in zone 8A where it's still warm in certain areas, you can wait up until October to start your spinach from seed. You can also get your lettuce started. But you don't have to start this from seed unless you want a specific variety, because your local nursery probably already has lettuce transplants that are ready to go in the ground right now. But if you live in zone 8A, you have up until the end of September to start those from seed. Now let's move along to the herbs. You still have time to grow more basil. You also have time for cilantro, which matures in 60 days and will tolerate a light frost. You also have time to grow parsley. Now I grew this last year and it didn't die in the frost. And temps here in Georgia get as low as 30 degrees. So that's another good one that you could grow throughout the winter, along with rosemary. But I wouldn't start it from seed. Your local nursery should have plenty of rosemary transplants. You can also grow carrots. Now I'll be growing the Corotas, this rainbow mix here, the long emperor, or imperator, sorry about that, and the Danvers. I also have the carrot seeds here that I harvested from the carrot that was flowering in my garden from the yard tour. Now let's move along to the brassicas. But before we get into the brassicas, you can start your beets towards the end of September from seed. You can also start your Swiss chard at the end of September, along with your turnips. Now if you already have kale transplants that are ready, go ahead and put those in the ground along with your cabbage transplants and your broccoli transplants. These can go in the ground right now. You can also get your bunching onion started. So these are just a few crops that you can grow right now for your fall and winter garden. Now today what I'll be doing is starting my lettuce, my snap peas, and my bunching onions. I'm going to start these today in my container there, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to get that started. But instead of the seed starting mix, I'll be growing it in compost because that's what it's going to be growing in outside. Now you don't want to bring compost or any soil for that matter from outside to the inside without sterilizing it first, And I'm going to show you how I do that right now. What you're looking at right here is compost from my compost pile. I don't know if you guys can see the steam, but that's from the boiling water that I poured over it. And what that does is kill any insect eggs, insect larvae, and any crawling insects in the soil. You don't want to take soil from outside to the inside of your house, or you could risk the chance of having a house full of fungus gnats. So all you have to do is get boiling water and simply pour it over into the compost. So what I'm going to do now is let this drain out and cool off, and once it drains and cools off, I'll add a little azomite, vermiculite, and blood meal. Now I'm ready to go ahead and direct sow everything you see right here: my peas, my bunching onions, and my lettuce. I'm going to do that by simply dropping the seeds right over the soil and then covering them up. Now this right here is the salad bowl green lettuce. So all I'm going to do is just drop a few in 3 different rows, and I'll thin them later. I might even make a video on how I thin them without cutting or breaking any of the seedlings. Each and every last one will survive. Now I forgot to mention that you can also grow cauliflower and kohlrabi, but you want to start your kohlrabi from seed towards the end of September. But if you have any cauliflower seedlings that are ready to transplant, just go ahead and transplant those. Alright, now these are the last ones. Then I'll show you guys what I have growing already in my fall and winter garden. And that'll be it for today's video. Alright, so now that I have all of my seeds sown, all I'm going to do now is take my compost from over here. I'm going to mix it in really good. Now this is just vermiculite, blood meal, and azomite. So all I'm going to do is just mix this in really good. Put about an inch of it on top of my seeds and wait for them to come up. Simple as that. Now the way that I cover them is pretty simple. I grab a handful of my compost and I just drop it right over the seeds like that. That's it. Pat it down a little. Now all I have to do is wait for them to come up. Now that I have my seeds covered, this tray is ready to go near the windowsill. Now I'm going to leave it there for about 2 weeks until everything starts to sprout. Now once my seeds start to sprout and my seedlings start to grow, I'm going to wait until they get about 2 inches before placing them underneath my grow light. Now by that time, my basil, my spinach, and my parsley would have been transplanted outside into the garden by then, so I'll have plenty of space for my new seedlings. And they'll be going right up here. Now in the back, there's the spinach, the parsley, and some of the purple basil. Now beside it, what you're looking at is my Georgia Southern collards. These are also the ones that I started back in July in the video I made on what to grow in the month of July. And as you can see, they're still small and not yet ready to go into the garden. Now down here in the front, these are 3 cabbage seedlings. And it looks like a 4th one is coming up. Now beside it, we have kale, dwarf kale, and red Russian kale. And behind that, I have my broccoli seedlings. And right here in the front, these are the rest of the purple basil. And the 4 in the back are all cabbage seedlings. Now I had to start these over in August because I tried 3 times back in July and they would have been the size of the broccoli and the collards, but I had a pack of bad seeds. So I started over one more time and it looks like we're good to go. And that's pretty much it for today's video, you guys. If you found any of this information helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and always remember to plan your garden with your health in mind.